like to thank our sponsors. So this would obviously not help, we wouldn't be able to do this if we didn't have our sponsors. So I'd like to thank our College Central Network, along with Mountain Sac and Live and Jackie Kennedy Harris and 06 Media. Thank you for, helping in this event. And some of these sponsors that we've had have obviously done it over a period of time and many years. So we appreciate your partnership.
Perfect. So I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Lauren Sweeney. She's a vice president of Rise Up for You. It's a global educational and motivational company that focuses on enhancing company culture and personal development through soft skills. It's a subject I really care about. She's here with us today to share how to maximize our presence on LinkedIn, something I'm slowly trying to improve. So welcome, Lauren. Looking forward to hearing from you.
Absolutely. Welcome. So glad to have you all here. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's doing amazing. And I'm excited. I'm going to get us started. So let's type in the chat. How many of us feel like LinkedIn is something that we're crushing the game on? And how many of us feel like this is really an area that we could grow in? And oftentimes people think, well, I'm not an entrepreneur, or maybe perhaps you are as well. And however, do I need a personal brand on LinkedIn? Or I'm not looking for a job. I don't need anything on LinkedIn. Well, oh, I like this. I like this niche. Just slightly crushing it, but need to grow. Absolutely. Soft crush. This is good. Well, oftentimes we think, well, I'm not looking for a job right now, so I also don't need to work on my LinkedIn, or I'm really not into social media at all. Not even sure my LinkedIn login. Totally understand. The thing is, the best time for us to work on our LinkedIn is now, if we don't need it. When's the best time to get recommendations? Now, if we don't need it. I promise you will thank me later. Later on, you will say, oh, Lauren, now I am looking for a job, or now I am building my entrepreneurship side hustle, or now I am working on things. No matter what it is, I am here to support you in this awesome topic. And Greg, like you said, I'm way into soft skills development, emotional intelligence. I think I have about 5 hours, right? Just kidding. So we can talk about all of the different things, but today I'm going to talk about LinkedIn. And like Greg said, I'm the vice president at Rise Up for You, and we're a training and development company. So we work with individuals on branding, like LinkedIn, on confidence, on leadership. And then we also work with companies from Google all the way down to a local nonprofit. And we love the education space for sure. That's really important to us. My husband is a teacher. My mom's a retired teacher. My mother-in-law is a retired teacher. So we're all about that space. And today we're going to talk about LinkedIn. How do we do it? What do we do? Well, I'm sharing my screen. If you want to try and log into your LinkedIn, you're totally welcome to. I'll also put my LinkedIn in the chat. Love to connect and keep the engagement going for sure, but also you can use it as an example. So a few icebreakers. If you use LinkedIn, what do you use it for? What gets your attention on LinkedIn if you happen to pop in there? One nice thing is you do not need to put what you ate for breakfast in there. You do not need to put your pictures of your cat. So if you're a little social media adverse, don't worry. LinkedIn is not like that. And that's one of the reasons that I love it. And I'm going to give you some statistics later, which I'm all about, because statistics I think matter. But first, let's read a little bit in the chat. What are we using LinkedIn for? Inspire others, absolutely. To use a network, build your personal brand. Awesome, Christina. Professional associations and networking. There's a lot of professional groups in there. Networking, yes. LinkedIn Learning is amazing. Also some networking in there. Okay, fantastic. So let's give you some stats in case you're not a LinkedIn convert like I am, all right? In case you're thinking, I don't know, Lauren, not so sure about that. Yes, learn about events and building your brand. Definitely. Yes, Rosalinda, employer engagement, promoting our college, news, branding. Well, there's 61 million LinkedIn users that are senior level influencers, and 40 million are in decision-making positions. LinkedIn has over 690 million members. Let that sink in. 690 million members. That's a lot. And so wherever we're looking to connect professionally, now we are here in California, but there's people all over the globe there that you might want to connect with. Only 3 million LinkedIn users share content on a weekly basis. And so I am here to help you crush this LinkedIn game, because you can really stand out there personally, professionally, and it is a great time to build that brand. So LinkedIn profiles with professional headshots and a banner photo. And if you're not LinkedIn savvy, I'll show you what all of that means. They get 14 times more profile views than if you did not have that. All right. Are any of these statistics a little bit shocking? Right? So let's keep going here. More than 95% of recruiters use LinkedIn regularly. Again, it's totally okay if you're not looking for a job or you're not hiring. That's not a problem. But the point is that we can use LinkedIn now and have it help us as we go through. 40% of monthly active users use LinkedIn daily. And LinkedIn makes up more than 50% of all social traffic, business to business, which I think is really cool. And we have found this for sure at our company, that LinkedIn's lead conversion rates are 3 times higher than other major ad platforms like Google Ads, etc. Also, did you know that LinkedIn recommendations are the only legitimate recommendations almost out there? Unless, perhaps you're writing one for a student of yours for college or something like that. But LinkedIn recommendations are way better than Yelp, which can be maybe manipulated. Yelp can shut down your recommendation if they're not into it. If you don't pay them enough money, it's a little shady if you ask me. Also, you cannot give yourself a recommendation like you could on maybe Google or somewhere else. I actually have to know you. So Kimberly and I would have to be connected on LinkedIn, and then I could give her a recommendation. And we also have to say how we even know each other. So then if I, let's say, go to Christina's LinkedIn and I see a recommendation, or if you go to mine, you can click on it and it's real live people that are actually connected and actually doing business or just know each other, and it can even be a character reference. So a few of you mentioned it in the chat on why build LinkedIn, but first to build a brand, raise your online presence, gain more clients or just professional connections, and also demonstrate your expertise. Do you ever wonder, where can I just tell people about things I'm passionate about? Well, depending on what they are, most of the time, LinkedIn is a great place for that. LinkedIn is an awesome area where you could post a video and tell people what you're looking for, what you're excited about, things that matter to you. LinkedIn's a great space. Are you ready for 7 steps? Have you had your coffee? I just brewed some more Nespresso, so I'm ready for it. I'm going to go through each of these. And if you haven't done much with LinkedIn, be compassionate with yourself. Yes, I'm going to give you homework today to do a little LinkedIn makeover, but it's a work in progress. And absolutely, as I go through each of these, please put in the chat any questions or anything that you're working on. So first, we need an amazing profile picture. You don't need to go out and spend a bunch of money on headshots, but you can literally just take your phone, do a little selfie, make it look nice, put on a bright colored shirt if you want, and take a picture. The other thing I need is a banner photo. Lauren, what's a banner photo? So I'm gonna give you an example. A banner photo, this, for example, this is the CEO of our company, Netta. Here's her banner photo, meaning it goes behind her circle, her headshot, and it shows her in action. So this, for example, she did a TED Talk, but I need something. Otherwise, LinkedIn automatically just gives you a little block that's blue. So if you have just a little blue block behind your profile picture, that's wasted space. LinkedIn literally is giving you for free space to put a banner photo. What could you put there? Maybe it's you if you ever are giving a talk. Maybe it's you in front of a room. Maybe it's just another image of you that does need to be a little bit skinnier. Okay. Here's the next one. A clear and engaging header and title. I'm going to give you some fun examples of that in a minute. an impressive bio highlighting soft and hard skills. See, Greg, we're all about those soft skills. Work experience that supports your professional vision and path. Okay. And I'm sure today at the conference, you're also getting a lot of ideas, a lot of amazing things that your committee has put together for you about what it looks like to make an impact. And you're getting ideas professionally, and maybe you even want to connect with each other while you're here on LinkedIn. We do want every degree and certificate that you've worked so hard to earn, any volunteer work or committees you sit on, and lastly, endorsements and recommendations. I'm going to go through each of these and break them down a little bit more on this sexy topic called getting it right with LinkedIn. Okay, so first we talked about our headshot and our banner photo. So that's the first one. I'm going to take a couple questions in the chat while we look at this. Yes, Canva is great, Megan. I love that as well. Absolutely. And the other thing too, Christina, on Canva is sometimes for our clients, I'll take a picture and then maybe we'll put their favorite quote. There's a lot of room when you're working through it on a banner photo. Again, it doesn't have to be fancy. Something up there that goes with your message or your brand, it matters. That's important. All right, clear and engaging title. And we're going to work on this one for a little bit. And if you want to drop yours in the chat and you want me to help you work through it, I'm happy to, okay? I'm going to give you a couple examples. First, I'm going to show you the examples. I think some of these are fun. So instead of just telling me what you do, I want you to first tell me a little bit about who you are. So let's do John, solver of unsolvable customer problems, finder of unfindable solutions, and teacher for unteachable customer reps. And what does he do? He didn't put his title in there, but he's an IT manager. So it's interesting, okay? Let's talk about Ravi, right? Future world ruler. I mean, maybe you don't have to be that humble. Current account executive at Pepsi. I build relationships, create solutions, and make powerful connections. Whatever your brand is, I think it's interesting to put something that relates to it, something that highlights more about you than just your title. So I want to ask you, what is a problem you're capable of solving? How do you serve? What matters to you? Can you invoke an emotion with your header? So if anybody needs ideas, this is very informal. You're welcome to even unmute. I'm happy to walk you through it or check out your LinkedIn while we're here together. It's great that you can really niche it in so that when someone goes there, they look at you and they go, ah, this is what this person's about. All right, let's keep going and then we'll dive into some more examples. All right, let's talk about your bio. Providing hard and soft skills. So not just saying your experience, but also telling me that you're a great communicator. Also telling me your leadership skills, the things that matter to you. Provide how you've created change or outcomes, and always include contact information. Oftentimes I read an about section and there's no way to contact the person. Now, can they private message you on LinkedIn? Yes. But if they're not connected to you, they have to use an in-mail credit, etc. Put an easy way. You don't need to put your address, just an email will be just fine so that people can get a hold of you. Any questions so far as we're diving in? I know you're all trying to change your password to actually be able to log in. I get it. Let's keep going. Work experience that highlights what you do, that supports your vision. You never know what tomorrow brings, so always set yourself up for success. And sometimes you may find, well, not all my work experience really goes with what I'm talking about right now, and that's okay. I want you to put the work experience down because sometimes it does go together. I have a college professor that is one of my clients, and I'm helping her with her LinkedIn and her branding. And she said, well, I used to work in early childhood education. I'm not really sure that this really makes a difference and really works. Yet it speaks to her character, her tenacity, her love for teaching, her love for learning. And so no matter what it is that you do, how can you bridge, if you have different work experience, how can you bridge that together? Every degree and certificate. Yes, all of them. I'm sure obviously you already have any graduate degree on there, but also think about certificates, LinkedIn Learning. If you take a course with us, we're SHRM certified. Whatever it is, it does matter. And it's okay to brag a little on LinkedIn. It's okay to boast a little and put everything that makes you super awesome on there. Communicates your work ethic and your growth mindset. I'm not sure that today you necessarily get a certificate for coming to the conference, but you definitely could put a screenshot, especially during that dance break where you have everybody's photos up, and say how great it was to attend the CPA conference today, that it mattered. And Rosalinda, our president, did a great job putting it on, and Greg was a great MC. I mean, you could talk about it because it speaks to your growth mindset. It speaks to your ability to learn and your desire for that. And that's important to people. If you're doing any volunteering or sit on any committees, you want to put those down as well. If you're a board member, perfect. Add any of that. If you currently don't do any activities that are volunteer based, that's totally fine. I know a lot of us are dealing with burnout and we're at capacity. This morning I was teaching in North Carolina on Zoom. So I didn't actually fly there. I'm in California like you. And we were talking about time. How do you manage your time and accomplishments? How do you leverage them? And there's a lot going on. But if you are volunteering or sitting on a committee or a board, write that down. Endorsements and recommendations. These are uber important. We talked about it a little bit before, and I'll share my screen and show you my own LinkedIn so you can get an idea of what it looks like. But you want to make sure that you reach out. And how do you do that? If you're not used to this, if you have no recommendations, you actually need to add it as a category on your LinkedIn, which you can do. You'll see, it'll say add section. Under add section, simply click on recommendations. Next, you're going to reach out to people. Now, I want you to know you have to be connected to them on LinkedIn first. So if Shelly and I want to do a recommendation for each other, we have to connect on LinkedIn. I have to say how I know Shelly or how I've worked with her, and then we could give each other a recommendation. Don't be afraid to ask. People would be happy to give them. I'm sure if I asked Kimberly or Kimberly asked me if we knew each other, it would be more than great so that we can continue that professional relationship. Really, LinkedIn is the social platform, if you're not into social media, that you might really enjoy, because it is where you can build those professional relationships, just like you're doing here at the conference. I love that. Rosalinda put her LinkedIn in the chat. That's perfect. There's so many great things that we can do and how we can connect with each other. Now add mine as well. Okay, so you already know part of your homework before we move on is to do a LinkedIn makeover. Now, I don't literally mean you need to do it right now. I'm not going to be grading you or checking on it. But before we keep going, I would love to pause for a moment and find out if there's any questions or you would like some help, maybe coming up with a fun title or fun bio or something like that. You're welcome to unmute. You're also welcome to put it in the chat. Either way.
Can you, would it be too much, Lauren, to ask you if you can show us a demo of how to put up the recommendation thing on it? I don't know how to do that. I want to learn. And so if you don't mind doing a quick little visual for us visual learners, I'd be at your mercy. And then Rosa has a question afterwards as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me give you an example. This is mine. So this is a banner photo. I was speaking, but I have slides behind me. So that's how it looks so fancy. It's literally just a regular photo with slides behind me. The other neat thing, we didn't talk about this, but I'll have to go to a different, actually, I'll come right back to your question. I just want to show you a neat thing, a neat feature if you haven't used it before. This is our CEO Netta's, for example. I can't click on my own to show you. If you go over, it'll give you a video. So if you click on their profile picture, you can actually make a video, which I think is really cool. It's really cool. So let me go back to my LinkedIn, but I just wanted you all to know that you can do your headshot, and then you can also have a video on there, like a 30-second, just again, more exposure, tell people who you are. Okay. Oh, there we go. There, my video started. All right. So let's go down to recommendations. If you notice though, Just like I told you, I tell you about myself before I tell you my title, which makes it pretty interesting. Okay. Now I'm viewing my own profile. So when you view it as a user and not me, it won't give you all of my statistics. But again, my bio and at the end, it has how to contact me, right? So we just talked about that. If you write articles, you can pop them in here. It's awesome. It's like your own little newspaper collection. We're going to get to activity in a minute. We're going to come back to activity and all of the job experience, education, volunteering. You can do skills. Okay, so let's talk here. Recommendations. What I would do is I'm going to go to the plus and I'm going to ask for a recommendation. So remember, it has to be somebody I'm connected to. So if I'm not connected to them, then I'm going to, I cannot ask for a recommendation. So if I start typing it in, let's say I pick, this happens to be my boss, but I'm going to click here. I'm going to say how I know them. Then I'm going to say my position and then press send. And this will send them a message to give me a recommendation. Now, Rosalinda, if you don't have any, or anyone else on here who's wondering, if you don't have any recommendations right now and you need to add the section, is that what you were referring to at the beginning?
Well, I thought I didn't, and I'm looking at my profile and I'm like, wow, I have 2 recommendations.
You're crushing it.
I was like, when did that happen? I guess at one time, but I don't remember. So it's like lost in the forgotten zone. It's out in the cosmics.
Yes, that's okay. Perfect. So all you'll need to do then is just like how mine are down here, you'll simply click on, you'll go back to your recommendations, click on the plus, but I wanted to show you, it came up at the very top, you can add a section. So if you do need to add a section, you can add it at the top. So if you haven't had any recommendations, then you'll add it. Do you see how it says like add profile section here? I can add different pieces to my profile, including the recommendation section if you don't have any. But since you do, then perfect. You will just pick people that you know, you'll connect to them if you're not already, and you can make a list. Remember, it can be somebody that supervised you, somebody you supervised, but it can also be somebody you sat on with a committee for the CPA. It can be somebody that you just professionally know and they can give you a character reference. Rosa, tell me your question.
Hi, good morning. Thank you.
Good morning.
So my profile, LinkedIn profile, I purposely don't put my job title on there, but I put a lot of the committee work and the different activities that I do at work. So I'm wondering, one, is that okay? And 2, how is it important to actually put your job title if it doesn't really relate to your LinkedIn profile and where you want to go with that?
That's a great question, Rosa. It really is up to you and your brand. So it depends, and I'm going to do a little personal branding support as well. It really depends your outcome. Do you not put your job title because just as maybe a therapist doesn't put a lot out socially, they don't want, it's, it could be a liability for them or their clients. Is there a particular reason you don't have your job title, or you just don't have it?
I don't have it because it doesn't relate to what I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you would like to shift careers.
Right.
Okay, absolutely. So under work experience, you can still have it. It still shows you're employed, that you're doing a great job working, but under your title, I would put what you would like. So do you want to tell me, and I know there's lots of us here, what you would like to do? If not, that's totally fine. We can always connect later and I can help you privately, no problem.
Okay, I'll connect with you later.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. At the end, I'll show you too how you guys can talk with me, and there's no charge for that or anything. We can have more of a conversation about it. But that's where I would like you to think is, okay, what type of position do I want? Let's say you want to be a copywriter. And right now, let's say you are a college admissions administrator and you'd really rather be a copywriter. I don't know. So you would then put like what you love, how you love to contribute. You love to be creative. You love to support individuals in writing their novels and getting them published. hypothetically. So I think that's totally fine. Under work experience really is where you can put your actual positions. And then in your title, put what you want it to be. And it doesn't have to be a title like vice president at da, 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 da. It can really just be what you're about.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks.
Great question. Great question. Okay, I love some questions in the chat. Nancy says, do you recommend bullet points or paraphrasing one's job duties? That's a great question. So you want it to be visually appealing because it is LinkedIn. And if you're looking to switch careers or just get a different job, this is a great resume. This is your walking resume. And wait till we talk about activity. Oh, so juicy. So in terms of having it look appealing, in the about section, as you can see, I just kind of wrote it as a paragraph, okay? And in the experience, I think visually it looks best just to have it be bullet points like this. So somebody could scan through, pick it out. Also, if you notice, LinkedIn will actually pull. So let's say, for example, Pyra, it's an HR organization that I sit on their board. And it pulls the graphic for you, which is pretty cool. So visually, I think it looks better when it's just bullets like that. And let me go back to your question, Nancy, or paraphrasing one's job duties. So make it as readable as possible, but don't be afraid to be confident, to talk about all the different things you love. And just like Rosa's question, it depends what direction you're headed. So if you're like Rosa and you're like, I'm going to change careers, then please list everything you do. I would bullet point it though, because visually it looks better. Okay. Hiba, college students typically struggle with what to put in their headline, especially if they're not working. Yeah, absolutely. So either they're students or they're moving into a new position or the position is unknown. Absolutely. So I'll pull up a couple examples, but as a college student, it goes, and for yourself as working professionals, it does go to values. The person is the professional and the professional is the person. So even as a working professional that maybe has a lot of different titles we could put down, what are my values? What matters to me? What are my strengths? So same thing for college students. In their headline, they could put, these are my strengths. And maybe they're still discovering them, and that's okay as well. These are things that matter to me. These are things that I am excited about right now. Passionate about changing the robotics industry. You know, if you ask a kid, and my kids are little, what do you want to be when you grow up? Same thing if you ask a college student. They often have some type of vision. They may not have confidence in themselves, right? But they may have this idea that they could do it. So what would that look like? And I think that that's great for them to kind of look at. I'm going to show you a couple examples, but if you could, let's say you're working with a student and his name is Bob. You could also ask, Bob, if you could do anything, what would that look like? Do you have a favorite quote? Do you have something that's amazing to you? So this particular amazing individual, she doesn't have anything special she doesn't have her profile picture, which we're working on. And Sage just tells you she's a student at Howard University. It doesn't say anything more than that, which we're also working on her values and what matters to you, what matters to her. But she does have quotes in her about section. So you get a feel for Sage. Every problem is a gift. Without problems, we wouldn't grow. She loves, and this is what I told her to move into her title section, problem solving, innovation, creativity, servant leadership, community development. Awesome. Don't you want to get to know Sage? Even though she's not necessarily, she hasn't graduated yet, she's moving into the position to look for a job. These are things about her. This works for high school students too. There are things that you are passionate about, no matter what your titles are. And I think for us as working professionals, we experienced that during COVID. A lot of us maybe changed positions, lost a job, had to keep our job while caretaking, either for young children or older parents. That is a lot of change, and that can be very disruptive. Yet our values are still our values. The things that matter to us are still what matters to us, the things that light us up. that you can correlate on LinkedIn. So if that helps, we can talk more about it. Liliana, I would not have, this is a great question, 2 profiles. I would have 1. You want people to like, know, and trust you. Now, I have my own profile that has a lot of my company branding, but it also has my own flair to it. And I'll show you what I mean more about that in the activity. Now, our company Rise Up For You, we do have a page as well, but it's a business page. It doesn't have that personal flair. So yes, people could go to it, or we might put events on it. I might link to it. But if people want to know me or see my recommendations, everything is on my personal page. We're not talking about Instagram on here or anything like that, but even there, even on the gram, I am still mostly not putting a ton of pictures of my cats, of which I have none, but or what I eat for dinner, or even a lot of my kids. You know, there's creepy people on the internet. So mostly for me, for my brand, my personal brand, right? I am doing one page. I'm one whole person. So Liliana, it depends. I think where, and we may need to talk offline. And like I said, I'll give you a link so we can have a conversation. It depends what your current profession is and your personal business. And if they clash, or if maybe you want to build your personal brand for your personal business. I have a client where she works for a company and LinkedIn is all about the company she works for. And then her personal business, she makes jewelry. So that's not very B2B. It's more, person to person. And her personal business is on her Instagram. So that's how she ended up separating it, because they're so different. So it does depend, Liliana, I think, what you do, but ideally we're a whole person, unless the job that you're working at is not okay with your personal business, and then we may need to separate them. Okay, this is so good. All right, any other questions? I know we could talk about this all day long. I want to talk.
You just brought up a really good point, in regards to, and this becomes a HR legality component piece of it, where if you have your own personal LinkedIn account, and it's not a company account, right? It's not a company one. It's not one that's assigned to you. So it's like, let's say your own personal account, and you're posting things that are work related, and then you're also posting other things of your interest of, like I like what Rosa said. She may have a title, but she's doing all these other activities. So that's how she's branding herself. So I think on my perspective, I think that's a great thing. So we might be doing the same thing when we're branding ourselves on LinkedIn. So 2 things come to mind, and I don't know if you have the answer to this, or if there's anyone here from HR. I know some companies can prohibit individuals to say, what, work stuff needs to be put on the company account. Some are lenient and open to that. But where does it cross the line where they can either tell you, this is what you need to post on your account, right? Because they're wanting to push stuff on your account because you have large numbers and you're an influencer, versus, I'm going to say, your freedom to select on your personal account.
So it's a tricky one, and it really depends on the industry you're in, what you do professionally. However, I have an executive that I work with. So I coach her on LinkedIn and branding, and I help her do her copyright, help her make her videos, which we're going to get into under activity. So she does not work for herself. Okay. She does not have a personal business. She just got promoted. She's an executive for a very large dental supply company in the United States, very high profile position. And she knows, though, that she may want to build her own business. And she knows the best time to build her personal brand is now, when she doesn't need to. So for her, what we do is everything she posts is in alignment with her personal values and that of the company. And lucky for her, like, they go together. So hopefully you work for a place where your values are aligned. Otherwise, that's a whole other conversation we need to have about company culture, and I can help with that. So because they're aligned, I'll give you an example. She will post, I'm looking to hire a new individual. I'm excited about leadership here at, let's say the company is, Skagway Dental Company. I'm excited about that. She did a whole post. She did an image, She did another video about workplace appreciation and how she loves as a leader that she gets to show appreciation. How do you like to show appreciation in the workplace? So it's personal branding because obviously this individual really cares about leadership, company culture, workplace appreciation. That's personal branding. And it also shows, wow, she's an awesome leader at Skagway Dental. So that's how we bridge the two. And she's not saying anything bad about the company, but it is bringing out the things that matter to her. She even wrote an article about servant leadership. And then she had another one about emotional intelligence as a leader, how that really matters. That's her personal brand. And it does not conflict with her role as a professional. She also, remember, doesn't have her own business. So she's not promoting anything, but they go together. It really does come down to values. And it depends, Rosalinda, the company you work for, if you have a non-compete clause, what that looks like. But there are things inside of your professional organizations that you're just passionate about. You would love to start the committee for maybe DEI. You're excited about emotional intelligence. You're excited about creativity. There are things that your supervisor probably knows about you that you would love to write an article for, that you just, it gives you joy. You don't need to necessarily conflict it with the company, but really it does depend on the case by case.
Great points. Thank you. Thank you for sharing with everyone as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Paula, for my banner, could it be a photo of myself, of course, with my name and under something like Latinx higher education professional? Yeah, I think that's great. You could also put your favorite quote. So I'll give you another example. Where we made, like I told you, I made a Canva picture. And so, for example, you could, this particular one, it has like an image, and then her favorite quote I'll show you is creating collaboration and engagement. So here's an example here, creating collaboration and engagement. Very simple. It's the same image. I'm like, oh, could you give me a different image? But anyway, that's okay. That's okay. That's just an example. Absolutely, you can, that's where, again, you're branding. So Latinx higher education professional, you can put that on your banner photo, but you can also put that in your title. So that doesn't necessarily need to be in the banner photo. Maybe you put like a quote or values that matter to you there. Also, the neat thing is that title section is really long. It's much longer than people think. People think there's enough space to put like vice president at da 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 da, or you know, something along those lines. But yeah, I think that that's perfect. Ideally, you'd like the headshot and the banner photo to be a different image. Remember, on the banner photo, you do need to be kind of far away, or maybe there's a bunch of people in the picture, or you with students, etc. Good. Okay. Keep thinking of your questions. I told you we'd talk about activity. Do you remember in my stats, I told you that not very many people that use LinkedIn, remember there's 680 million users, are posting on it. So you want to stand out. Okay, now most people that I work with, they do not want to do any videos. However, I'm going to tell you, I'm just showing you my LinkedIn as an example. If you look, I'm going to show you how I made this video really simply on my phone. Now here's a static image. So you can have static images. You can then up another video. The more that you can, there you go. There's myself and some of our team members. There's a static image. Also, oh, look, there's a picture of me. Maybe I'm speaking, etc. Things that I'm doing. So as much as possible, you want to have content. So anytime you're in action, like today, take a picture, even though we're on Zoom. Yes, screenshot us, post it. It shows you're involved in your professional development. Now, how do you make a quick video? First of all, you need to increase our courage. And remember, people want to like you, know you, and trust you. And they're going to get that from either an image or a video. So most of my videos, I actually make them in Instagram, in the Instagram app. And everything I'm about to tell you doesn't cost you any money. No special filters, no special apps needed. So I go to my Instagram app and I go to make a reel. R-E-E-L, if you've never made a reel, okay? I film my video literally on my phone. Hi, I'm so excited to be here today at the CPA conference. It's amazing. Da, 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 da. It can only be 30 seconds. Okay, it will literally cut you off, which if you're nervous to make videos, you're like, thank goodness. Then you can press caption. And again, feel free to message me on LinkedIn. I can help you with this. Press caption, it will auto caption your video. So now you're compliant, you know, for visual learners. And then you can put a title. And then you press the little arrow that says download, and you can save the video to your phone. You cannot add music and save it for copyright. Who knows? I think Instagram doesn't play well with LinkedIn or something. Okay. Now you save the video. You can post the reel to your Instagram if you want, but you can now repurpose that video for if you're a TikTok star. I'm not, but maybe you are. Or if you're on Facebook or on your LinkedIn. And no one will know that you literally made it on your phone. My other favorite place to do a quick video is on Zoom. Get on Zoom by yourself, press record. Hi, I'm Lauren Sweeney. I'm so excited to talk with you today about values and why values matter. And then you can literally post it. Simple. You don't need to hire a fancy camera crew. Just something simple where you can talk about what matters to you. And remember, it doesn't have to be anything that is controversial, although maybe that's your brand. It can just be something you're passionate about, a place for you to get your voice heard. Maybe you want to talk about higher education and what you're so passionate about seeing inside of it, or the changes you want to make, or anything that really matters to you curates the brand. And Nisha, you asked, you recently posted a video of you doing a workshop and shared it on your LinkedIn page. That's fantastic. Yes. Anytime you're doing a workshop, you're in front of people, even you with a colleague, a student, anything, have somebody take a picture. If you see me at a live event, an in-person event, probably somebody is there taking pictures of me because I need content. What I would highly recommend, even if you go to a networking meeting, anything, take pictures and then store them on an album in your phone called, you know, shots for LinkedIn, because you need to get a bank of photos so that you have something to post. You do not just want to post static images that you grabbed from, you know, Unsplash or somewhere that's not copywritten. It's just not that interesting. People would want to see you or the work you're doing or what you're excited about or a link to an article. All of that matters. Any other questions? And then we're going to dive in the last few minutes on a little personal branding. Okay, fantastic. A few of you had private messaged me too. So I'm going to do personal branding, but I'm also going to give you this. So if you want, yes, a couple of you asked, if you want the resources, you're welcome to. They're all free on the website. So just go to riseupforyou.com, go into resources. There's a time management guide. There's a PDF. Remember I had those 7 steps. That's all on there. You can download that for free. And then you also, if you want to talk, I know some of you had personal things you want to talk about that you don't want to explain to 100 people on Zoom, you're welcome to scan that. It's totally free and we can just connect a little bit more together. Okay. So I want to do a little bit on personal branding. I'm going to double check our chat. Any other questions? Oh, perfect. Joelle, is there a phobia about seeing yourself on video? Yes. Yes. Most working professionals that I work with, that I coach, they will not make a video. And we work on confidence. Then we work on getting your message out, what you want to talk about, how you can educate. So if you do have a personal business, the best thing you can do is not to sell on LinkedIn. That's not received well, but to educate. What can you educate on? I might talk about company culture, personal branding, emotional intelligence. Like these are all things. So I'm going to do a 2-minute video to educate. Oh, the way you sound, you love the message, you don't like how you sound. So you could use like a voice, no, I'm just kidding, a voice changer. The other thing you could do in the meantime is you can have an image of yourself, like a headshot or just a fun picture you took, and then you can write it out. I have a few executives I work with and they just end up writing. So if you feel like your voice and the message will still come across well, you could write it as a great start. The other thing is you could make a video and send it to a colleague that you think would give you an honest opinion and say, do I sound bad? Does my voice sound that bad? Probably they're going to say, no, I mean, I think it's amazing. You had the courage to make one. The other great thing, if you're nervous, which a lot of people are, to make a video or to just put themselves out there, is you can put your nerves into your fingers. So this is great in person. I know it works on Zoom too, though. Put your fingers in front of you and you can put your nerves there. The other thing you can do is take a deep breath. Instead of your filler words, you can also pause. Because when you pause, it gives the audience time to think. And really the filler word is just because you are thinking of something. Great question. But just know that if you have a phobia about making videos and how you sound, most people do too. And so that's also why you want to do it, or at least have some kind of content, because you'll stand out. And the more you do it, the more it won't seem as awkward. And you'll realize my message and my brand and what matters to me is more important than, maybe the monkey chatter in my head, which is a whole other topic. And luckily, Greg gave me several hours today. Just kidding. Because we really could talk about that. We surveyed over 3,000 working professionals. And you know what the number one challenge was? 3,000 working professionals, not college students, working professionals. Their number one challenge, 82%, said confidence. Confidence. And so that is the norm. And it's also something that we can work on. It's kind of an epidemic in the negative monkey chatter and self-talk. And not that this is a workshop on confidence, but it's so related to our personal brand. And just know that those little tiny action steps forward will make a huge difference. Yes, somebody asked, can we put this in here? Absolutely. Let me put it in the chat for you, Bonnie, as well. I'll share it again. There you go. So if you go on riseupforyou.com and then you can just click, I'll show you, and under resources, and they're all free. You can download them. So you just go up under here under free resources and you'll see all kinds of things. You can grab your free call here, and you can put my name in the chat if you want to talk with me specifically. How to build confidence, look, free download, your time management, and how to stand out on LinkedIn. So everything we talked about today, right there. Absolutely, you're welcome. Great. Well, we have just a couple minutes left. Are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'll give you a couple fun branding tips. Okay, awesome. So a couple of great things is that the energy matters. Even on Zoom, as I'm sure you know, showing up today, if you tend to be concerned or it's harder for you to, like when you walk in a room, I want you to play with even the colors you wear. Wearing bright, bold colors, thinking intentionally, it does matter for your brand. People will notice us. And oftentimes when we want to hide or we don't feel as confident, we will often dress in a way that reflects that. Maybe we'll wear something that doesn't stand out, and maybe you don't want to stand out, and that's your brand, and that's okay too. But there's intentionality and thinking, how do I want to show up? The other thing I'll leave you with as well is rising tides lifts all boats. And so when I feel awesome, it helps Greg feel awesome. And then Anita says, yeah, I want to talk about my personal brand too. I want to talk about things that matter to me. Then Jessica says, hey, Emily, let's do some recommendations. We worked together before. And then Ricardo says, yes, Ralph and I are going to do a quick video and post it about things that we care about in higher education today. And it starts to become contagious, and we start to share ideas and uplift each other. So it's been my privilege to be here with all of you today. I look forward to supporting you on your journey to being your best selves.
So next year we will be March 1st through the 3rd, 2023 at the DoubleTree Hilton at the Golf Resort in Palm Springs. We look forward to seeing you there. Think about it, save the date, start mentioning it. and plan it on your fiscal budget for next year so that we can see you live and in person.